We're in the Netherlands. The following podcast contains spoilers for The Vanishing. You have been warned. Ooh, a windmill.
Oh. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glen Button. There's a cobweb above my camera. Holy shit. Along with your host, Miguel Magusto. You see how easily this little fella gets distracted? It's insane.
I do see how easily that little fella gets distracted.
I don't even think I have ADD. It's insane.
Who knows?
Meanwhile, I've got two tabs and two monitors and 18 tabs open right now. Anyway.
I could never do that many tabs. I have more than I normally do, but that's just because we're recording.
Luckily, most of them are for the actual information that we need on this podcast.
Well, there you go.
So look at that.
Yeah. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm not too bad. I got my daily dose of tea right now. I got a fucking thing in the background that's swiveling some DVD shit. I got my toes out, just hanging around. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good. I have water. I don't have tea. I was just sitting in my office here and with DVDs behind me. Oh. And the flags of all the Irish provinces behind me as well.
Of course.
Yes, as is tradition.
Yeah.
But this is not an Irish podcast, despite how 2020 works for me.
Yet.
Much like Iceland. Oh, sorry, the place that should not be named. I talk about Ireland for a long time after coming back. Glenn, have you seen any movies this week?
Let's see. I have watched one silly little movie besides the two for the review, obviously, and the YouTube review.
Yes, that's down from last week, but more than you normally do. So
I want to throw that in there. I've also watched two shows. Yeah, that's right. One was 24 episodes, which was a fucking lot.
That's like 12 movies you could watch.
Seriously. So I finished The Bear. We had talked about that last week. I finished that. But before that, obviously, we watched Insidious: The Red Door, which was a movie that we also reviewed. So there's that. And that's all I'll say. Go check out that review if you want to hear some more about our silly little thoughts. But I finished The Bear. Bear was really good. It was a lot, just like the first season was. I really liked the character development in this a lot. Mm-hmm. And it just all of the characters by the end of it just were really nice. It was nice to have all that after the first season just being sporadic and crazy and absolutely and then of course kind of goes nuts at the end a little bit. Episode 6 is still fucking insane, and I need you to hop on that eventually. I'm not rushing you, but eventually. And then the finale was great, but then again, it left me wanting more. I'm like, why isn't the third season out right now? This is fucking horseshit. And then after that, my craving for The Bear wasn't done. So I had a movie on my radar that had Bradley Cooper in it, where he was like a chef, or like one of the Michelin star chefs. And I was like, well, I got to check that out. That movie was called Burnt. It didn't necessarily grab my attention like The Bear did, but for the most tart now I'm thinking about food. Thinking about tarts now. For the most part, it was pretty good. I wouldn't really necessarily, if you're in the mood, I would recommend Chef for a food movie before I'd recommend
Chef is a great food movie.
It's top tier. I would recommend. I mean, I would eventually recommend. It would be on that list, but it was good. Bradley Cooper was good, and a lot of the cast was pretty good as well. But the one movie besides the two for the reviews, I watched Over the Hedge again.
Oh.
Random one. We were talking about, not we, but like I was talking about it with somebody else the other day. And I was like, man, I gotta check that out again, because that's been fucking years. It was like a conversation between that and the other one that came out literally the same year, Open Season.
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation about that and which one was better. I saw Open Season first, and I haven't seen it since really the first time. So my instinct was always to go towards open season. I still don't know. I'd have to check out open season again. But this was a great film, especially for kids. It's fantastic. Steve Carell's fucking hilarious. Everybody else is good in it. Didn't know Avril Lavigne was in it. That was a scary moment in my life. I was like, what the fuck?
Is Bruce Willis in that one?
Yep, he's the raccoon.
Or the voice. He's not in it, but yeah. I've only seen that one. I haven't seen open season, so
I like open season. But then again, what was I, 13? So who knows? Those were different Glen thoughts back then.
Yes, they were.
After that, I had picked up a show that I thought the first season was I thought it was good. I won't say very good. I thought it was good, but I thought it was very overrated because people were going to hell and high water about how amazing it was. And
people always do that for TV shows.
God, it was a good show. I'll give it that. But it is not what people were boasting about for so long. This is an anime, by the way, so this is kind of a little bit out of your field.
Okay, let me go to sleep while you do this.
Yeah. So the first season I thought was overrated, but I thought it was good. So I picked up the second season, kind of like, God, I saw some people give it like 10 out of 10s already doing the overrated thing. I'll give it a shot. For character development as a season, it's really fucking solid because it's like the complete opposite of what this character was in the first season, which was just a bloodthirsty person. You would actually probably like this show. It's about Vikings and stuff. And it's not anything with cringy anime or anything like that. You might like it. Again, I know you, so you might also not like it at all. But it's really good. I'm pretty sure it's fairly accurate as far as Viking tales go and all that. But obviously, realistic.
Do they wear horned helmets?
Yeah.
Nope, that's not a Viking thing.
This is bullshit.
That was made up. Yeah,
do they? I don't think they do, actually. I think some of them might, but not all of them.
Yeah, that's the biggest way to tell if something's trying to be historically accurate or not.
I'd have to look it up, because honestly, the helmets is like the last thing I was thinking of to look up. But it was good. It was solid. I'm spending way too much time on it. I liked it way more than I thought I would. Still, people are giving it 10 out of 10s and shit.
Did you ever say the title?
Vinland Saga, sorry.
You did not say the title.
If I didn't, Vinland Saga. I mean, anybody who is listening who's a fan of anime already knows what I was talking about. But Vinland Saga, it was solid. Still, I don't know if it's 10 out of 10s, but, it's good. And then, of course, I watched The Vanishing, which we shall get into after. Mike, you sexy little beast.
Yes.
Let me know what you got into, fella.
I'll try to go quick, just so because we've been doing pretty long with these intros lately.
Yeah.
The first two movies I saw were Insidious Chapter 1 and 2, obviously preparing for when we saw The Red Door. Hadn't seen either of them in a long time, so it was kind of cool to, watch and see if they still held up. Definitely cornier. The first one's definitely cornier than I remember, but it's still pretty good. Second one was about as mediocre as I remember thinking it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, Insidious. If you haven't seen them, you're probably never going to see them unless you get into horror.
Unless the sixth one comes out.
Ooh.
Watch out.
Yeah, but that's those two. Then I continued my Ingmar Bergman collection. I think I only have like 10 to 12 movies left in that. So
it's impressive.
We'll see. It started with 39. So I really legitimately do not have any idea what number I'm at right now. But it's getting close to the end. It's called After the Rehearsal. It's kind of, I enjoyed it for the most part. It kind of goes on a little too long. It's only an hour and 13 minutes. So like barely a feature length film.
Yeah.
It's about this he's not elderly. I would say he's probably late 50s, early 60s. Play director.
Elderly to us. Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. Play director, and it's after the rehearsal, hence the title. The star actress comes and talks to him. It's just a conversation between the two of them and everything. Ingmar Bergman talking about art and stuff. Honestly, would have been better if they got like 10, 15 minutes, but then it's not a feature-length film at that point, so I understand why they kept it if he really wanted it to be a feature-length. But I think if it were like a tight 50, 55 minutes, it would have been really, really good. Instead, it's just good.
Was there anything like they could have added to make it that feature length? It would have made it not feel like draggy or anything?
If they left the stage, yes, they stay on the stage the entire time.
Oh.
Yeah, there's one part where it's kind of like a flashback of the director talking to the actress's mother when she was an actress. And that's where it kind of lost me. I was really interested in the dynamic of the daughter and him. Not his daughter, but the daughter of the woman that kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they could have added stuff. They could have taken away stuff. It's not a perfect film. No film's really perfect, but yeah. But then we watched Insidious: The Red Door. We have a review for that up on the YouTube. You can check that out. Then Glen left me.
I did.
To watch Joyride by myself. And I will read you my official review. Moving pictures were definitely compiled into a timeline in order to tell a coherent story for this one. That is my official review for Joyride. I think a lot of people are legitimately going to love this. I could see it being really funny to a lot of people. It's just not my kind of humor anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it ever really was. Like the parts in like it's a raunchy sex comedy essentially.
Most Seth Rogen movies.
Yeah,
and he was a producer on this, I think, too.
The thing I thought was funny about Seth Rogen movies when I was a teenager, was how awkward everyone was. No one's really awkward in this.
Yeah.
So it's just like really cool people and funnily enough, the one person I thought was really funny was like the one awkward person in the entire thing. But like the 3 out of the 4 people are like really, really. Like, you could tell that they would be the cool people in whatever group they're in. But there is, like, a nice emotional touch towards the end that I really appreciated. But overall, I think I've just grown out of these. And even when I was into them, I wasn't into them for the same reason everyone else was, which was the sex jokes and everything. That part was always just like, whatever, take it or leave it. Even when I was 13, my friend showed me Ameircan Pie, and I was just like, this really isn't that funny.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think... me personally, I don't think Ameircan Pie is that funny.
A lot of people think it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never really into that kind of humor. Now, fart and burp humor.
Oh.
It depends. Depends for that. But yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I think a lot of people are going to love it. I was really just being snarky with my review of it. It's really...
It was a dictionary version of saying... It's a movie.
Exactly, and that's what I was going for. Then I watched The Vanishing, which we're going to get into in just a second. Then I watched a Terry Gilliam movie called The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, that film podcast I listened to with Brett Goldstein, Films to be Bared with Brett Goldstein. They've been talking a lot about that in the episodes I've been listening to. I've been going back in their catalog, and that's been brought up a lot. So I watched it, and it's really fun. I think it drags in some parts, but ultimately it's a really fun movie that you expect with Terry Gilliam movies, and really cool artistry to look at. Then today I went to the Monday Mystery Movie at Regal Cinemas.
Yes.
And the movie was Talk to Me and Glen. I tell you that I'm not going to say anything about it because we might have to do a review about it in 2 weeks.
Which one was Talk to Me?
It's an A24 horror movie.
The hand thing.
The Australian film with the hand. I will talk to you about it off recording, but just in case we do a review for this, I'm not going to say anything on here.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's all I watched. Let's get into.
Did you say that Steven Spielberg was passed up as most watched director?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've been going through all my Ingmar Bergman movies with After the Rehearsal. They were tied before this, but After the Rehearsal marks the one movie that Ingmar Bergman now has over Steven Spielberg in the amount of movies of theirs I've seen. I think I've seen 29 Spielberg and now 30 Ingmar Bergman movies.
The Mad Lad's done it.
Yeah, so... that might change. I might go back and watch all the Steven Spielberg movies I haven't seen.
Right after all those ones.
No, I'm going to watch... I have a Godzilla collection that I'm going to watch after Ingmar Bergman.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I do want to watch those really bad.
We might have to make a club out of it.
We might have to.
Yeah. But yes, that's all I have to say. So let's get into Spoorloos, or The Vanishing.
Je m'appelle Raymond le Morne. Je suis sociopathe et claustrophobe. Je n'ai jamais trompé ma femme.
Ah.
Gabi, le cabochon, s'il te plaît, dans le tiroir. Mais je m'empresse de vous dire que pour moi, le pire, ce n'est pas tuer. Vous l'avez violée, Saskia. Si elle est morte, je vais mourir moi aussi. Et si l'homme qui voulait savoir, c'était vous?
I probably butchered that pronunciation.
Oh, well, wait till you get into what I'm about to say. Rex and Saskia, a young couple in love, are on vacation. They stop at a busy service station and Saskia is abducted. After 3 years and no sign of Saskia, Rex begins receiving letters from the abductor. That was almost there. I've stumbled on Rex.
Almost.
And here's where I'm going to stumble real hard. Directed by George Slozier. I'm gonna try to put some.
I think it's French
stank on it.
He's from the Netherlands. Everyone pretty much
Ameircan
except for
then.
Bernard-Pierre Donnadieu is from the Netherlands. So.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go Ameircan then.
You do that.
Tim Crabe and George Sloizer. Is that what you said?
I think it's Sluizer, but I don't know.
I'm going first name basis now. Congrats, you've stumbled. Stars Mr. Bernard, is that a Mr. Jean, Joanna, and lots of names. I don't want to fuck your names
You always
up.
stop at the easiest one.
Gwen's
it's not just this
easy.
movie. Gwen is very easy. Gwen Stacy.
Bernadette, that's easy. That's an easy name to get.
I mean, it is easy, but it's Roger.
No
Just
offense
Roger.
to any of you. I hate pronouncing names wrong with all my life. And I'm picking
And they're not
worst,
here to tell us how to pronounce it to help us.
And I always pick the worst ones to review because I always pick the,
You do.
the hardest names. But like I said, that last week, this was one that I found on TikTok that was recommended in like a series on there. And I was like, that plot sounds interesting. Let me take a little gander. And so, of course, as a platform, we gotta do these things. We gotta find out the unknown that is movie culture, and this was a part of it. Mike, was it as thrilling as you and I maybe didn't expect?
Well, let me start off by saying this. When you told me that it was recommended to you from TikTok, I was nervous.
Yeah.
But then you said Criterion Channel, and I was like, okay, there's a chance. There's a chance that this is going to be good. Criterion Channel would have bumped it up. TikTok knocked it down.
Yep.
So it kind of went back to base level. And so I went into this admittedly thinking I wasn't going to like it. Don't know why. Couldn't tell you why. The trailer's not very good, but that's all 80s trailers. 80s trailers, especially for anything other than comedies, 80s trailers are not good. No. So, like I wasn't expecting much from it. But this movie was captivating. It was just, like, from the get-go, essentially, from the scene when their car breaks down in the tunnel, I was hooked. When they were just talking and stuff, I was like, okay, this is character building, whatever. I'm not into it yet. But then their car broke down in the tunnel with no lights, and he abandoned her. Rex abandoned, what's her name? Saskia. How could I forget that name? He said it 10,000 times.
At least.
When he abandoned her, I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Like, what's the dynamic here? And then, I thought that the inciting incident was going to happen then, but it didn't. And then it just kept going and going, and it got so. It was just. It shrouded itself in mystery very well.
Kept you on your toes.
Kept you on your toes, yes. And I just really was along for the ride the entire time. I don't think I looked at my phone once. If I did, it was very briefly. I hate and love that that's how we decide if we like movies now. It's like, how many times did I look at my phone?
Well, I got screwed at it. I had to do some tax things that I had to kind of look away.
It's not even April. What are you doing?
I'll tell you off.
Okay,
the thing. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
It's screwy.
Yeah, but I kind of just was kind of looking for parallels with like real events. I don't know why. I just was because you know me.
Not?
I think the psychology of serial killers is interesting. Not that he's technically a serial killer. The legal definition is you have to have killed 3 people, and we don't know if he did.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 3 people, and not at the same time. If it's at the same time, you're a mass murderer. But they have to be spread out for you to be a serial killer. Yeah. There's a very definitive definition, hence the word definitive, of the word serial killer. When I first saw him putting on that cast, I was like, is this somewhat inspired by Ted Bundy? And his method, when in the second act, when he kind of goes through his method, that's essentially what Ted Bundy did. He would pretend he was like injured and ask a woman to help him with something, and then he would. I don't know if he would. I'm not an expert with Ted Bundy, but I don't know if he would like kill them near his car or like chloroform them like he did in this. But I just thought that was interesting that a Dutch and French movie was kind of in the 80s when Ted Bundy was still very, very fresh and new on everyone's mind, was kind of taking note of that and putting it in a film.
When was Ted Bundy specifically? Maybe he got some inspiration.
No, he didn't. I think he
didn't. He didn't have access to the Criterion channel yet.
He did not. No, I think he was dead by this point. I think he died in oh no, he died in 89. They put him to death in 89.
So
but he was
to be very fast.
Yeah. He was in well, he escaped a lot too.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he was in prison.
I know not. I just want to let I barely know anything about Ted Bundy, so just
he was in prison. I don't know when the last time he was caught, but he should have been in prison by this point.
Yeah.
But the funny thing I thought was that the guy playing Rex, Jean Bervots, he kind of looks like Ted Bundy a little bit. Like
was
like in the beginning when he abandoned Saskia in the tunnel, I didn't trust him, and I was trying to figure out why I didn't trust him.
Yeah.
And I realized it's because he kind of looks like Ted Bundy.
He had the jawline, the mischievous jawline.
Yes,
that's
yes.
for sure.
Ted Bundy, of course, is notoriously was a claim. People claimed he was good looking. I think he.
After seeing some pictures from our point of view now, he's not that good looking.
Yeah, I mean, we also have the knowledge of what he did to project onto him. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a perfect match, but he's got the jawline, he's got the dark hair and the dark eyes. So I don't know. Ted Bundy was on my mind in this, but this movie just took a turn that I wasn't expecting, with this whole kidnapping thing kind of being an experiment from Raymond, the kidnapper's point of view. Like he was experimenting. His daughter called him a hero, and he was like, I got to do the opposite thing of being a hero. Which is a weird thing.
To find out if I'm actually a good person. Yeah, it is super weird.
But, I mean, he also said that he was diagnosed as a sociopath.
Yeah.
So, like, it makes sense if you're a sociopath. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. It makes sense in the movie that he was diagnosed as a sociopath. So, logically, in his head, I've been called a hero. I have to see if I actually am a hero. But, yeah, I just thought it was fascinating. It really surprised me at how good it was. I knew it was probably going to be okay, but, like, I really enjoyed it.
I think I got a little too get-go-y. I'm trying to think of all the words in the world today, and none of them are fitting the descriptions. I was kind of I overthought it, I guess. I thought it was going to be more mysterious and more thrilling, I guess.
I could see that, yeah.
So
I didn't see the TikTok that you saw, but
yeah, it felt more thrilling through the video that I saw. So I assumed it was going to be more. But as far as like a kind of character study in a way, like it was really good. Just the characters. Rex was great, but his physical acting, personally, I hated a little bit.
What is that?
I don't know, the dream sequence when he was like dreaming of like him being the golden egg, when he was with his new girlfriend, and his dream acting. I was like, that is nothing against the guy. I was like, I kind of laughed a little bit. It was very traumatic, and I'm sorry, but I giggled. I had a chuckle. I was
How
like,
dare you?
Man. And then the scene, like at the end, when he's drinking coffee, is very overexpressive, I think is the word. Is very theatrical, I should more say.
I feel like that's a very European thing, though.
Yeah. I mean, we've watched plenty of movies where their acting is kind of very overexpressive. Not that they shouldn't be, especially in his, but I couldn't help but be like, God damn, he's going fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, flailing around and everything. He's going crazy, dog. But
just as an example, like I really don't think American audiences can deal with something that's not realistic. Because in the movie that I just watched, someone gets like obviously like ghosts are involved, and someone gets really messed up, but then like a few months later walks out of the hospital. And when I was leaving, I heard someone say, "Oh, there's no way he'd be walking out of the hospital." So you're okay with the talking to ghosts part, but you're not okay with the walking out of the hospital a few months after an injury.
There's levels to this shit, man.
No, it's just I think it's just really funny that like what Americans will accept versus what they can't accept when it comes to a movie. When like the whole reason of movies is to kind of bend reality a little bit. I just thought it was interesting
to escape it more or less too. But I don't know. I just thought it just made me giggle how overexpressive and theatrical he was.
I would agree. Yeah.
Besides that, he was phenomenal, Rex, in this movie. And Raymond, he was fantastic too. Just straight up like dead face, but like embracing, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah.
Like besides him having the like chin goatee part, that's not very expressive and endearing.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the full thing, man.
Well, it really felt like it fit the whole sociopath thing because it felt like he had trained himself how to react to situations.
Yeah.
In order to not put people off, which there's a lot of I've seen some videos with, I don't want to say a lot, I've seen some videos with some people who say they're sociopaths and working on it and everything, and they say that's what they have to do is they have to train themselves, like to think really quickly, what is this person trying to get out of this conversation, and kind of reflect that. But yeah, they were all really good.
Yeah, they were all fan. As far as every actor went, like everybody was just solid. But it was me setting myself up thinking that it was going to be more of a thriller than it actually was. Is kind of what failed me. Again, not against the movie in any way. It's just what I expected.
I blame TikTok more than I blame
TikTok
movie.
too. I do think it would have been just slightly better if it felt more thrilling. Just not like Speed and shit where it's fucking there's a bomb. She's somewhere. We gotta find her. Or just anything. But just like a slight we knew he was in the background, but it would have felt if we just had a shot of him there. I know in the one shot he's like at the cafe and like you could see him but he's blurred out. Or, like not in focus. But like just a shot of like his over the shoulder or something looking at them. Was there one of those? I guess I might have been.
When they first pulled up to the service station,
I know he was at his
he saw
apartment.
them. Well, no, when
before
you're talking about after when he's at the cafe, they do show an over the shoulder of him from the balcony looking down at the cafe. So there is that. But
it also could have just been, in my opinion, like kind of that 80s vibe to where it didn't feel as thrilling,
Well, the problem is we know, and I wouldn't even say this is a problem. It's just what the movie is. We know who did it the entire time.
Yeah,
there's no question
too.
as to who did it.
There's no, extra pulse to it when we know what's going on.
So with the first act, the second act, and third act being so separate, like the first act is her going missing, which I loved that it's from Rex's perspective. Yeah, that part was pretty thrilling. And then the second act, which was interesting, but it's kind of where it loses the intensity, is when you see what Raymond did and everything. And with the third act, him kind of telling him that taking him on this trip to show him what he did with Saskia. that's when it started getting thrilling again.
Yeah.
But there's that second act, which is, I think it's the longest act, if I'm not mistaken. It usually is the longest act.
The longest for sure.
Yeah. That's when it kind of becomes less intense. Again, it's just what the movie is. I think I do think you were probably misled by the TikTok. I didn't see the TikTok. I was just glad it wasn't as campy as the trailer made it look.
And again, it's not taking away the fact that it was a good movie. It just, if it had a little bit more of that thrill, I think it would have been absolutely bar set match or whatever the fuck the chess saying, whatever. Anyway,
you're confusing a chess with tennis right now.
I know. Shit. But no, it was great. I think the lead up from Rex's point of view, I think the first act was great. Just the how it all played out, and then kind of Raymond kind of just overshadowing it, or just like from a point of view looking and like kind of building his character up, and like all that was fantastic. And then not knowing exactly what happened to Saskia is what made the end, the last act, the most like, intensified, because he's talking to Rex and we don't know what the fuck's happened to her. We know she's 3 years have passed.
She's probably dead.
She's more than likely gone in one manner or the other. But Rex has to get that clarification on that closure, and we need that closure too because we want to know what happened. And Raymond's just like, "Do you want to know? You can find out."
Yeah.
Come on.
And he beats the shit out of him, or tries to.
Yeah, and then Rex beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Even doing the bullshit thing on the side with the taxes, I was stuck to it just like you. Maybe obviously a little less because I had to do that.
Yeah.
But it was good, man. It was really good.
The thing, the best part of the second act is when you finally see exactly how he got to Saskia at the service station without anyone seeing.
Mm-hmm.
First off, it's when you first see how Saskia is. Because I'm a firm believer that you truly see how someone is when they're dealing with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, you don't know them on a deep level like you would, but, like, the way someone treats a stranger is the way I think that best reflects, for lack of a cheesier or less cheesy word, their soul. It reflects their soul. And when she's interacting with him and she's just so kind and trying her best to speak French, even though she's not good at it. And, the thing that really becomes heartbreaking is that he lures her to his car with the promise of jewelry for Rex. Like he sells
like a
jewelry.
keychain.
Yeah, keychain with the letter R in it that she wants to get for Rex. So it's her act of love of trying to find a gift for Rex that ultimately ends up in her demise. And then on top of that, seeing the picture of him with his family is what actually gets her into the car. Because at first,
clever little ruse on his part for sure.
I mean, shitty clever little ruse, but yes. I was worried that it would just be like, oh, she gets in the car because she just trusts him. But there's a reason for her trust, which is what's so heartbreaking about it. And yeah, I mean, if you're a serial killer, I guess that is a clever little ruse. Don't get in anyone's car that you don't know, even if they have a picture of their family.
We've come a long way in almost 40 years.
Yeah, Ted Bundy had a family.
40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a ladies don't trust men. Don't trust men
too.
Period.
Men, don't trust strangers.
Don't trust men.
Be nice to them, but don't trust them.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thought that I wish they focused on more is his new girlfriend, Lienke, I think her name is.
Yes. I'm not even
Lienke,
try it,
however you pronounce that. It's a Dutch name for sure.
We're gonna call her L.
Yes.
Or
I wish they focused on this more, but you could tell that there's this internal struggle with her where she's jealous of the time that he spends on trying to find Saskia, but she also wants to be supportive because she knows it's the right thing to do. And I thought that was a really fascinating.
She cares for him too. Like,
it's
just a mutual
thing. And obviously
thing.
she cares about a missing person. But just as much as like a stranger would be like, oh man, that really sucks. And I thought that was really interesting, but I feel like they kind of rushed it. Yeah, and I wish they had focused on that more.
There could have been like a couple more scenes where they had more interactions together, but I think it was really kind of heartbreaking when she's like, it's the time you spent together. Half of it is the time you should mourn. How long would you mourn for me? Because it would only be 4 months. It wouldn't be the same. It was like heartbreaking. She's like how much she really cares for this dude. But I mean, obviously she understands, but she's like, I gotta let you go do your thing because this it's eating you, and I can't keep doing it with you. It was really sad to see, a little heartbreaking, and she was great. She was great too. I was really scared that Raymond was gonna snag her up too. I'm like, that's honestly his chicks, man.
That's honestly one of the things that made it suspenseful in the second act. Like that was the one bit of suspense where like when he was watching them and he kind of followed her with his eyes as she left by herself.
Well, and then
who knows what would have happened if Rex didn't catch up to her? Like,
well, here's the smart thing is like as far as him studying Rex, is he knew exactly that Rex was just going to go chase after her. Yeah. So like he wouldn't have done it because he knew Rex was going to go after her. So, and plus he already had his little fun with just some random chick. It's really fucked up to say. He had his fun with some random chick, but his pleasure that he's going to get out of next is doing what he can to Ray, because he's been baiting him this whole time.
You mean to Rex?
To Rex, because he's been baiting him this whole time. That was his primary focus. Yeah. She was just...
And it also takes the heat off of him since Rex is the only one looking for Saskia still.
Yep.
So it's like double incentive at that point. Mm-hmm. Now that kind of brings me to... one of the last things I have to say, really. Mm-hmm. Well, first, great casting, of course. Yes. Even with Raymond's younger half, looked a lot like him. And when you finally do find out what happened to Saskia, and he drinks the coffee to drug himself, and then he wakes up in the coffin, buried underground. And then it's that reveal of the two trees. So, like, obviously he buried him next to Saskia, or at least that's implied. First of all, that's terrifying. The note that I wrote that I told you I laughed for 2 minutes after writing was, thank God I am so big, I'm too big to kidnap.
Yeah.
Because I would not have a good time.
No. For the killer or for you, that person would be working.
Yes. I just thought it's really. I know it's not that funny, but it's just like for that to be my one thought while watching someone realize they were buried alive just made me laugh for a long time.
Friend. You are very. Yeah. I'm the perfect victim. I'm a $150 to $60 on some.
And you're sexy and all
sexy,
that,
handsome. I'm average height. You're gonna have a good time with me, kidnapper. Yes. Please don't.
No, but the idea, I have a problem with the word claustrophobic because I wouldn't say I'm like afraid. I feel like a lot of people when they're in tight places are just like, oh no, I can't get out. I don't have that kind of claustrophobia, but if I knew for a fact I was trapped, then I would have a problem.
Yeah.
But
like extreme claustrophobia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'm diet claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic zero.
Zero sugar. When they show Raymond's face looking at the two trees where Rex and Saskia are planted, do you think he felt any remorse? Or do you think that he was just kind of glad it was over? Because he has a very blank face on. And I feel like that was on purpose so the audience could project what they felt onto him.
I think he was very blank the whole time. So I think, like, because he was giving off, it was showing that he was basically hollow. So I think he took some liking into that, and he was finally content with what he just did. And now, obviously, we know. Well, especially after he pulled off the Saskia thing, that we all know that he's now not a good guy.
Yes.
And I think now he's content with that, and then he knows.
Yeah. I personally felt when I don't know what it was about his face, but I felt this, that he didn't feel bad about finishing the job with Rex.
Yeah.
But the length that Rex went to learn what happened to Saskia, I feel like made him feel bad about Saskia.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain why I thought that. That's just the vibe I got while I was looking at him, looking at those trees, where it's just like he had this look on him that just kind of felt like this is what I had to do, but man, I wish I never had to get to this point anyway.
Yeah.
So there was like a slight regret, but also relief that it was over and he was more or less in the clear, which I thought was very fascinating.
The one thing I would have taken away from that scene where he drinks the coffee with the sleeping pills in it, to the point where Rex wakes up, is I wish we didn't even see Raymond digging. Like, I just straight up.
Oh, did we? I must have looked down for a second when that happened.
Well, he's kind of. It was already the casket was already in the ground, so he's kind of pushing dirt already.
I remember that now.
And then it's black, and then he wakes up. I wish we didn't see that part at all, and it was just sleep pill, boom. It was just straight up Rex
cut to black.
Yep.
And then he flicks on the lighter. Yeah, I agree.
I think that small takeaway, but I think that would have been boom boom perfect, and then from there on, I think that would have been super sick. But I mean, it was great regardless how it panned out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I am very interested because the American remake of this is directed by the same guy, George Sluizer, or however you pronounce it. So I'd be interested to see. I don't think it'd be as good as this because
Probably not.
if it's an American remake of a good movie, the American remake's more than likely not going to be that good.
But it'd be a curious thing to see.
There's a few exceptions, obviously,
to see what he took away or added. It would have been. Yeah. It'll be nice to see.
Movies like Let Me In are an exception. Mm-hmm. I love Let Me In. And Let the Right One In is also really good.
Yeah.
But, the great movie. Really kind of went over my expectations. Mm-hmm. So glad that it wasn't as campy as the trailer implied.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or
I had a good time watching it. Yeah. Well, there's some really cool posters. Like the Criterion poster for it is beautiful. It's just the black sky with the lights of the gas station.
Oh, okay.
So the poster that's on IMDb is cheesy.
It's not flattering.
It's not flattering. And then I think I found another one that I'm going to post. By the time this comes out, it will have been posted already, but posting tomorrow. That's pretty good because I really tried hard to find a better poster. And the poster I'm going to post tomorrow is just Saskia standing at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, nice.
With the mountain behind her. So that's a really cool poster too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's really all I got to say.
Did someone steal their bikes, or was it Raymond?
I think someone stole them. I think that was not related at all.
Okay.
Yeah, people are shitty.
People are assholes.
Yes.
All right. Anyway,
I feel like I hate to compliment him. I think Raymond was too smart to have stolen them.
Yeah,
because
he was getting the fuck out of there.
Exactly. That would lead them to him and be evidence and everything.
Yep.
And he seems like someone who's a little too meticulous. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Got it.
Got anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
So that does it for the review of The Vanishing, or Spoilers. Or Spoilers. I apologize to everyone in the Netherlands. I am so sorry. But that brings us to the judgment. As always, it needs to be a unanimous decision.
Splash with an accent. Spoosh.
That brings us to the judgment. As always, it needs to be a unanimous decision whether or not it goes on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. Glenn, this was your pick. Does it go on the shelf for you?
Yes, it was. I blame TikTok for getting my expectations a little bit on a different genre a little bit there, because the way they put the video made it seem like it was definitely way more thrilling. But I'm glad with the way it turned out, because it was like a kind of a good character study on just the two people, Rex and Raymond, and of course Saskia was great, and she was just so heartwarming and everything, just a genuinely good person. And all three acts were equally great. Like, second one, obviously it slowed it down a little bit, but you got a lot of backstory and a lot of character details, especially with Raymond, that, it put all the pieces together towards the end, and it turned out great. I would say, yes, it goes on the shelf.
I would agree with everything you said.
Wow.
Even though the second act does slow it down a bit, I think it's needed for the story they're telling.
Yeah.
To shine more light on Raymond. It doesn't hurt the movie. I think it's just not what maybe we were expecting or necessarily wanting, but at the same time, I wouldn't change anything about it. I think with the final act included in the whole thing, the whole movie as a whole is really great.
Yeah. I think 3 more minutes with Lienke, or whatever her name was.
Lienke.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom, and then cut the digging scene. Perfect.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, I agree. Absolutely goes on the shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. Wow. So, The Vanishing, or Spoorloos, why do I keep trying? Goes onto the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to our assignment for next week. It is Streaming Roulette Week.
Yes.
Welcome again to that. For those of you who don't know, we spin a very real wheel 3 times and pick the one that we want to watch the most. And last week I had it screen grabbing, but I don't have that set up, and honestly, it doesn't add that much. So you could just do whatever you want when you edit that.
I shall try.
Without any further ado, here comes the first spin. Ted K from 2022. We got to make sure that this was early enough in 2022. February 2022. So it is good. As far as the 1 year goes. It is going to be available on Hulu. An exploration of Ted Kaczynski's life in Lincoln, Montana, and the years leading up to his arrest as the Unabomber. I knew as soon as I read Ted Kaczynski, I knew it was about that. Directed by Tony Stone, written by Gaddy Davis, John Rosenthal, and Tony Stone, starring Charlton Copley, Drew Powell, Chris Calloway, and Thomas Rounds. This will again be available on Hulu. 6.0 out of 10 on IMDb, 70 Metacritic score. Yes, that is Ted K.
All right.
So that was spin number 1. Here comes spin number 2. Descendants, which is a Disney movie from 2015.
2015?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is on Disney Plus. Yeah, Disney something or other. The teenage son of the king and queen of Aradon offers the troublemaking children of villains a chance to attend prep school in the kingdom. I can tell you right now.
I'll tell you right now. We're on the same wavelength. We're watching this movie.
No, that's not what I was going for.
Burn in hell. Yes.
Directed by Kenny Ortega, written by Josan McGibbon and Sarah Perriott, starring Dove Cameron, Boyce.
The late Cameron Boyce.
Yeah, late Cameron Boyce. Boo Boo Stewart. Love the name.
Boo Boo.
Honestly, it might have got me on board with that name. And Sophia Carson is a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. No Metacritic score. And yeah, that is Descendants. Come on, spin number 3. Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I know what this is. Lost Soul. Why'd you say Jesus Christ?
That was a long-ass name.
Yeah, that wasn't even all of it. It got cut off.
Yeah, I see.
The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. This is a documentary, if I'm not mistaken, about the behind the scenes of the Island of Dr. Moreau. That was with, I think Val Kilmer might be in it. Marlon Brando's definitely in it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, whole bunch of things. Written and directed by David Gregory, featuring Richard Stanley, Kiara La Janice, Michael Gingold, Graham Humphreys, and others who are in it. Yeah, that is going to be on Freevee. So we have Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of the Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau, Descendants, and Ted K. Honestly, I feel like this one's just being handed to Ted K. But that's just me.
Just a little bit. I kind of want to watch Island of Dr. Moreau.
I do too. But I haven't seen the Island of Dr. Moreau, and I know a lot about it. I I don't know. What do you think?
I already forget how to spell. There it is. I mean, if we were going to even think about the documentary, I'd rather just see the movie of it itself.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to do that little waiver, that'd be cool.
Well, I will allow it.
Okay.
If it's streaming.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and check that. Boop boop. It is on YouTube for free.
Oh, cool.
So there's that. So okay.
Legit?
Yeah. So we can either do some Ted K, or we can not do some Ted K and we could do some Dr. M. I don't know what Moreau's first name was. Or is his first name Moreau? I don't know.
His first name is Doctor.
Oh shit.
Okay, there we go. I'm trying to get on realgood.com. Okay, so yeah, we can do that. The
right.
island of we're breaking the rules because this is our podcast, so we can do what we want. If you don't like it, get your own podcast, which is very easy to do. You honestly should if you want to.
Anybody can.
Yeah, so it's available to rent on Apple TV or Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's also on Hoopla if you're rich and have that subscription. The only people I know that are rich. According to Glen, it's also free on YouTube.
Not illegally. It is actually on the YouTube.
Well, is it is it? Oh, let me see if I can watch it.
Anybody can.
I know
watch
you.
It
well, you have the.
Well, I looked it up on Google. It said it's free.
Oh yeah, free with ads. Yeah. So the island of Dr. Moreau. After being rescued and brought to an island, a man discovers that its inhabitants are experimental animals being turned into strange-looking humans. All of it the work of a visionary doctor. Directed by Richard Stanley and John Frankenheimer. I know a little bit about that. I can talk to you about it later. Mm-hmm. Based on the novel by H.G. Wells, written by Richard Stanley and Ron Hutchinson. Starring David Thewlis, Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, Fairuza Balk. I believe Ron Perlman's in there. Yes, he is. And many others. And of course, this is available on YouTube for free, Hoopla for free if you have that subscription.
Did you watch
Val? As well.
The documentary?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, very good.
We'll talk about it later then. Never mind.
Yeah.
On the sixth day, God created man. On the seventh day, he rested. And on the eighth day, in the year 2010, in a remote laboratory, an exiled scientist created something impossible. Unmistakably human. Undeniably animal. On the island of Dr. Moreau.
I'd like to present my children.
Father?
Oh my God.
But yes, so the island of Dr. Moreau is our cheeky little dark horse for our assignment next week. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Keystone Film Review. I am Mike KFR.
And I'm Glen KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch a potential disaster, probable disaster. We'll talk more about it next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.